Welcome to week 2 of Lockology 101 with Ms. Prince. Last week we covered lock sizes. This week we're talking about the different ways that you can start your locks and the different ways that you can maintain your lock. First, we're going to start with coils. Coils is one of the original ways that people started their locks. You use a fine comb, you grab the hair, and you do almost like a curl. I used to call them either like finger coils or like Shirley Temple curls, really tight curls that eventually begin to lock. Secondly, you can do two-strand twists. I would say within the last 6 years, two-strand twist has been the most popular way to start your locks. I think that people prefer two-strand twists because, for one, your hair locks faster. Secondly, it gives the lock a bit of a texture. And third, people are more used to how their hair already looks at two-strand twists because most people have already experienced having like twist outs and things like that. So you already know what it looks like on you, and it's just easier to grow from that to locks. Third, we have braids. Braids is not as popular as it used to be. I find that braids are a little bit more popular with doing micro locks because of the texture of it. But braiding, starting with braids is a little bit difficult because it tends to stay a braid forever. It's really rare that someone has had a braid as a starter lock and it actually turned into a lock. Typically, it actually stays as a braid. For the fourth one, we have interlocking. Interlocking tends to be more popular among micro locks and sister locks because it's more smaller. When you do interlocking with bigger locks, we find that it just has a very lumpy surface and most people don't normally start that way. Then you have back combing. Back combing is typically for people that have very straight hair and their hair really doesn't hold a curl. So typically you'll back comb their hair, almost like teasing their hair, and then you can go into with a two-strand twist or a crochet needle. Following that, we have the crochet method, which is also a popular method, and that is using a crochet needle to instant lock the hair. After that, we have freeform, where you pretty much just allow your hair to grow how it is. You wash it still, you condition it still. And there is a misconception that people don't wash their hair when they have freeforms. They really do. You wash and condition your hair, maybe tease it a little bit, just a little bit of manipulation, but it does not have any set parting. Lastly, we have lock extensions. That is for people that are trying to skip the beginning phases and want more mature locks. And we use a crochet needle to do that. Okay, so now that we have discussed the different ways that you can start your locks, we're going to talk about the different ways that you can get your hair maintenance. Palm roll / locksmithing. Locksmithing is a little bit newer, but it's pretty much the same thing. Locksmithing just makes a tighter palm roll, and that is when you do this gesture with the lock and it just wraps all the hair around it and it gives it a nice retwist. After that, you can do interlocking. My personal least favorite, I have found that sometimes with some people's hair it does a little bit of breakage, but that's not for everyone. The people that typically have smaller locks tend to want interlocking because it lasts longer. You have to use a crochet tool, not this tool, but a different type of crochet tool in order to do that technique. People find that it just lasts. If you're someone that goes to the gym a lot and you sweat a lot, your hair is not going to unravel with interlocking. You can use the hook, which people are more familiar with, or you can use this one when you put the lock inside and it just makes it a lot easier to kind of go through to do the motion in order to tighten the hair. Okay, so after interlocking, then there is crochet root tightening. That is something that has become very popular on my books. I find if I have clients that have more than an inch of new growth, this technique is the best. It's gonna pretty much insta-lock all of your new growth. These are the tools. This is a 2-prong. This is a 1-prong. They also have 3 prongs, but I prefer these two. I use this one to gather the hair and this one to pretty much mold it in the way that I would like for it. These tools are no joke. I had to get special equipment for my fingers because it tends to poke my fingers. I have completely damaged my nail bed from using these. So I know that people tend to order these and want to do it themselves, but please, please, please see a professional when it comes to crocheting your hair because it's no joke. And you also can break your hair off. And then after that is freeform, and we already discussed what freeform is. It's really just leaving your hair. Some people that freeform their locks, they tend to still separate, so you won't get completely matted at the roots. And that's typically what I deal with. Sometimes I have clients that have completely freeformed and their hair mats at the root. So I go in and just kind of cut to kind of give some structure and give it parting, because if not, it can be very painful and you still want to be able to reach your scalp. Okay, so for your homework assignment, I'm gonna ask you to do a little bit of research. I know that I'm here to teach, but I also want you guys to get more comfortable with doing your own research because the information really is out there. I wanna know, with all of the different techniques that I told you about, palm rolling, which is a regular retwist, interlocking, crochet, and freeform, how often are you supposed to get your hair maintenance with those different services? You do not have to answer for all 4, but I do want an answer for at least 1. So for week 3, we are going to be talking about the topic that everyone wants to talk about the most, and that is how to moisturize your hair. We're going to talk about product, we're going to talk about different densities, we're going to talk about low porosity and high porosity and all of those different things and what is best for your hair.